The other day, I was in Delhi's GK2 market with a friend. As she and I were walking around, she saw a shampoo at a pharmacy. She'd been meaning to buy it for a while. But instead of just going in and getting it, she said, "Oh, I'll just order it on Blinkit." I didn't say it in the moment, but I was quite surprised. Are we really so hooked on to Zepto and Blinkit? Do we prefer delivery so much that we'd say no to buying something right in front of our eyes? Food delivery apps are popular everywhere. There's DoorDash and Uber Eats in the US, Meituan in China, and of course, Zomato and Swiggy in India. But quick commerce, your Zepto and Blinkit, which deliver everything from apples to atta to even earphones within minutes, are a peculiarly Indian phenomenon. Yes, they do exist in other countries as well, but it's only in India that they've grown as much as they have. In March, Zepto announced that it's going to join Blinkit and Swiggy and also begin delivering iPhones. So, the next time you're in the mood to spend, like a lakh, just hop onto Zepto. A delivery guy will pick up the product from a dark store and boom, you're now the proud owner of a brand new Apple product. My name is Kudrat Wadhwa, and you're listening to The Signal Daily. We don't do hot takes. Instead, we'll bring you deep dives into the how and why of consumer trends. In this episode, we'll learn about the rapid expansion of India's quick commerce industry. From selling groceries in the pandemic, now quick commerce apps even sell iPhones. How the hell did we get here? Who's even buying an iPhone in such short notice? A few months into the COVID pandemic, two 17-year-old boys, Adit Palicha and Kaivalya Vohra, started Kirana Cart, an app that delivered groceries to people's front doors within 45 minutes and for just ₹1. Dunzo was already a hit among Indian consumers. Soon, people began falling for Kirana Cart too. Its founders then rebranded and named their app to Zepto. Zepto, by the way, is a prefix meaning 1/60th of a unit. It's also the smallest unit of time that scientists have been able to measure until now. Zepto's makers wanted the company to live up to its name. Instead of Kirana Cart's 45 minutes, Zepto delivered products in just 10 minutes. Analysts thought that quick commerce was a pandemic thing, but the phenomenon was here to stay. The popular food delivery app Zomato soon acquired another quick commerce company, Grofers, and renamed it to Blinkit. Even the beloved online supermarket Big Basket jumped on the quick commerce train, launching BB Now, which delivered groceries to people's doorstep within minutes. In the past 2 years, quick commerce has exploded by 280%. In 2022, the sector was worth $500 million. In just 2 years, experts valued it at $3.3 billion. It's not that Indians are the first to make quick commerce apps, but the sector has found particular success in this country. That's because of a couple of reasons. First, these companies caught on to how we cook. Rather than doing a weekly or bi-monthly grocery haul, most Indians shop for groceries in a more impromptu way. Second, labor costs in India are super cheap, and deliveries can cost as little as 20 or even 30 rupees. A report by JM Financial found that delivery people work for about 10 hours each day and make 2 deliveries per hour. This means that in total, they make about 16 to 20,000 rupees per month. Now, that's a paltry salary, but so many Indians are willing to slog for even that little money. For the rest of us, 20 or 30 rupees doesn't mean that much. This extreme inequality means that the class of haves have a class of have-nots to outsource tasks to. The popular quick commerce apps that we know today, your Zepto, Blinkit, and Instamart, all started by delivering groceries. Indian consumers especially liked the convenience that they offered. In fact, a 2024 Deloitte consumer survey found that 49% of respondents preferred shopping for groceries online through quick commerce apps. The study also found that the demographics that particularly liked quick commerce apps were younger people in their 20s, the group we colloquially call Gen Z. Other attributes of that demographic were that they lived in urban areas, and these were generally people whose household sizes were small, say just one or two people. Once they found success in the grocery space, quick commerce apps expanded into also selling FMCGs. Basically, they began delivering household goods. Shampoos, body washes, toothpaste, and the like. Indians welcomed quick commerce apps even within that segment, though not as wholeheartedly as they did with groceries. The same Deloitte survey I mentioned earlier said that in 2024, large FMCG or fast-moving consumer goods brands reported a 2 times increase in how much they sold via quick commerce apps. Now, 35% of all online sales of FMCGs are through quick commerce apps. One caveat here is that most sales still happen in person. Online sales make up only about 10% of the total sales of FMCG goods, according to the study. But even within the online segment, it seems like people appreciate the convenience and speed that quick commerce offers. Selling groceries and shampoos would be one thing. But most recently, quick commerce apps have also started delivering more expensive products like TVs and even iPhones. See, the truth is that the unit economics of delivering groceries and lower ticket items is too low to make bank. In order to make money, quick commerce apps need to diversify their product offerings. And that's why we're seeing these apps expanding into selling items that will make them a higher profit margin, like TVs and microwaves and fridges, and yes, iPhones too. Take a listen to Adit Palicha, Zepto's co-founder, talking about the strategy in an interview with the podcast Morning Brief.
How will the expansion into new categories impact your profitability?
So these categories are accretive for profitability for us, Mugdha. And I think the reason why that is because if you look at the AOV into margin for these categories, they actually are, the delta is much, much higher than, let's say, core FMCG and grocery. And I think that delta is much higher.
Zepto and Blinkit and their kin are now also delivering high-ticket items like smartphones. But who's even buying these products from them? Who needs an iPhone, which can cost over $1 lakh at such short notice? Turns out, very few of us. A report by Counterpoint Research found that high-value electronic products like smartphones contribute less than 1% of the sales of quick commerce apps. Even TV sales aren't that meaningful either. That makes sense, right? I think all of us have used Zepto for groceries or to buy a charger, perhaps. Those are things we do need instant delivery for. But the likelihood of most sane people engaging in an impulse purchase of an iPhone or a laptop is quite low. Most of these are planned purchases, since these are expensive things. If you want an iPhone and you live in a big city, you might want to go to the Apple Store or a Vijay Sales and actually get a feel for the product. If you want a laptop and you live in a small city, maybe you'll go on Amazon and compare a few brands before settling on one. The course spoke to a few people who also said that they would never buy such an expensive thing from quick commerce apps. Even when it comes to groceries, they said that they're not sure of the quality of fruits and vegetables that they get when they order them on Blinkit. Returning these things can be a hassle too, which is probably another downside of ordering a laptop on Zepto. What if the laptop I buy doesn't turn on? What's the assurance that Instamart will take it back and give me a refund? Even though customers don't feel so excited about buying expensive products from Blinkit, some industry leaders remain hopeful about quick commerce's potential. Representatives from Daikin, Godrej, and LG told the Economic Times that they believe the upcoming summer will be hotter than usual, which will in turn help boost the sales of ACs via quick commerce apps. One senior executive that the Economic Times spoke to said that people like to touch and feel smartphones, TVs, and fridges before they buy them. According to him, that's not the same for ACs. For ACs, he said that people make decisions based on brand names and energy-efficient star ratings. Also, ACs do have a relatively low penetration of just about 10% in the country. With increasing temperatures, it's true that many more Indians will buy ACs in the near and distant future. But I'm not so sure of how many of us will buy them on Zepto. ACs also require installation and setting up, And so the quick commerce model might not be the best one to buy ACs. Quick commerce's dark store model and super fast delivery works well for groceries and even FMCGs. But we at the core are not so sure about people needing more expensive products like iPhones delivered to them in just 10 minutes. Still, it's also true that right now, hyper-fast deliveries are all the rage in the country. The core's Zenal Dadia recently published a story on DTDC, a logistics firm also jumping on the dark store model of quick commerce apps. Her industry sources said that they weren't sure of the long-term viability of the model or even the need for 10-minute deliveries for high-ticket items. One CEO said that she thinks that FOMO, or fear of missing out, is why everyone's hopping on the quick commerce bandwagon. Zenal ends the story with writing, and I agree, that, quote, while quick commerce apps have carved out a profitable niche in groceries, their expansion into other categories via dark stores seem more like a money-burning experiment than a viable business strategy. Even India's commerce minister has his doubts about the real utility of quick commerce. Recently at the Startup Mahakumbh, he quoted from this popular WhatsApp forward. You know, the one that compared Indian startups with Chinese ones? Under the China column, it said that the country is making startups that produce EVs and batteries and semiconductors and AI. In comparison, Indian startups are focusing on food delivery or bedding or instant grocery delivery.
What are India's startups doing today? We are focused on food delivery apps, turning unemployed youth into cheap labor so the rich can get their meals without moving out of their house.
That's all for today. You just heard the Signal Daily. We don't do hot takes. Instead, we bring you deep dives into the how and why of consumer culture. The Core produces the Signal Daily. Follow us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.